Right now, at this very moment, two Toronto Blue Jays are putting on absolute shows on the biggest international baseball stage on the planet. And if you have not been watching the 2026 World Baseball Classic, you are genuinely missing out on some of the most electric baseball you will ever see. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is walking around Miami in a home run celebration jacket like he owns the entire city of Florida. Alejandro Kirk is shattering Mexican baseball records and doing things in a Blue Jays uniform that nobody in history has ever done before, and back in Dunedin, the spring training machine just keeps rolling with Addison Barger destroying baseballs and a quiet young pitcher named Spencer Miles turning heads with every outing. Oh, and the bullpen picture? That is getting very, very interesting. Before we get into every single detail of this incredible time to be a Blue Jays fan, and there is a lot to unpack, go hit that subscribe button right now, drop a like on this video, and let's get after it because this one is packed. Let's start where the party is loudest right now, and that is Miami, Florida at Lone Depot Park, where the Dominican Republic has been running through the 2026 World Baseball Classic like a buzzsaw through wet cardboard. Through their first two games, the Dominican Republic has outscored their opponents 24-4. You read that right. 24 runs scored, 4 allowed. They blew out Nicaragua 12-3 in the opener, and then turned around and demolished the Netherlands 12-1 in Game 2, with the game ending early under the mercy rule when the lead swelled to double digits. And sitting right in the middle of all of that chaos, wearing the number 27 and looking like he has been waiting his entire life for this moment, is the Toronto Blue Jays' own Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, you have to understand how significant this WBC appearance is for Vladdy. This is his first appearance at the World Baseball Classic. He is 26 years old. He just signed a 14-year contract extension with the Blue Jays that locks him into Toronto for the better part of the next 2 decades. And the way he has come out firing in this tournament, it is clear that he has arrived with something to prove on the international stage. Through 2 games, Guerrero Jr. is 3 for 8 with 2 runs scored, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. 6 RBIs in 2 games. For context, the Dominican Republic has scored 24 total runs in those 2 games. Vladdy personally drove in a quarter of them. Let's talk about the home run, because it was the kind of at-bat that makes you stop what you are doing and rewind it 3 times. In the 3rd inning against the Netherlands, with Ketel Marte on first base and the score sitting at 2-1, still very much a game, Guerrero worked a full count and then demolished a low, inside curveball over the left field concourse for a 2-run blast that pushed the lead to 4-1 and sent the crowd of 32,324, the vast majority of them Dominican Republic fans, into an absolute eruption. What happened next is what really captures the joy and the theater of this Dominican Republic team. Guerrero was immediately greeted in the dugout by teammates bearing the home run jacket, a special celebratory jacket featuring the names of the entire team, and he wore it with the biggest grin you have ever seen while the whole dugout celebrated around him. It was pure, unfiltered baseball happiness, and it was beautiful. When asked about the jacket ritual, Guerrero said simply, "We're trying to find something to celebrate with a home run. I think the jacket is unique for us." That jacket made several more appearances before the day was done, because after Vladdy's blast, Junior Caminero hit a 3-run shot, Austin Wells added a 2-run blast, and Juan Soto put the cherry on top with the game-ending 2-run homer in the 7th to trigger the mercy rule. 4 home runs in 1 game. It was a home run derby masquerading as a baseball game, and the Netherlands manager, the legendary Andrew Jones, could only shake his head afterward. "I have seen so many good lineups, but this kind of lineup in a classic? Wow, that's too much," Jones said. And Andrew Jones, who has played against and managed some of the best lineups in baseball history, is not wrong. The Dominican Republic roster features Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ketel Marte, and O'Neal Cruz, and that is not even a complete list. This is arguably the most loaded WBC roster ever assembled, and Vladdy Jr. is right in the middle of it, not as a passenger but as one of its most important contributors. Without Guerrero, Toronto does not make the postseason run they had, let alone win a division title. And without Vladdy at his best for the Dominican Republic, this lineup, as good as it is, loses its anchor at first base and its most dangerous protection in the middle of the order. The Blue Jays, for their part, could not help themselves. After Vladdy's home run went viral, the Blue Jays social media team dropped a flex referencing his 14-year contract extension, reminding the baseball world that Guerrero is locked into Toronto for the long haul. And honestly, you cannot blame them. When your franchise player is out there hitting bombs in front of 32,000 screaming fans in Miami while wearing the home run jacket and smiling like a kid at Christmas, you flex. You absolutely flex. Now let's cross over from Miami to Houston, Texas, where the other Blue Jays story of this World Baseball Classic is unfolding, and it is even more remarkable when you consider the full historical weight of what Alejandro Kirk has done over the past 2 weeks. Kirk emerged as one of the best hitters of the 2025 World Series. He was the emotional heartbeat of a Blue Jays team that clawed its way through the playoffs and came within one out, one heartbreaking final at-bat, of winning it all. In Game 1 of the Fall Classic, he drilled a home run in the 6th inning to become the first Mexican-born player in MLB history to go yard during the World Series. He now holds the record for the most career postseason hits by any player born in Mexico, with 24. He is not just a good player. He is a historically great player for his country. And at the 2026 World Baseball Classic, he has picked up right where he left off. In Mexico's second pool game against Brazil, Kirk had an RBI double in a 4-run first inning, and then in the 4th inning, he launched a 3-run homer 416 feet into the seats in left center field that extended Mexico's lead to 10-0 in a single swing of the bat. A 416-foot 3-run bomb. In one swing, he turned a commanding lead into an insurmountable one. Mexico went on to win the game 16-0, ending it under the mercy rule in 6 innings. One of the most dominant performances in World Baseball Classic history. Mexico's 16-run margin of victory tied the 3rd largest in WBC history. Through 2 WBC games, Kirk is hitting .286 with a home run and 4 RBIs, building on that legendary World Series performance. And while Mexico ultimately fell to Team USA in a tense 5-3 battle that ended their pool play unbeaten run, Kirk battled hard throughout, stringing together late hits and pushing Team USA's bullpen to the limit. In the 8th inning against the Americans, Kirk was actually representing the tying run at the plate before a tough double play ended the threat. Even in defeat, he was dangerous. Even in a loss, he was exactly who you want at the plate when the moment matters. Now think about this from a Blue Jays perspective. Kirk signed a 5-year, $58 million contract extension with the Blue Jays in March 2025. He is locked in. He is healthy. He came off a World Series run where he arguably outperformed every expectation anyone had for him. And now he is going to walk back into Dunedin for the final stretch of spring training fully dialed in, with WBC at-bats in his legs, his bat hot, his confidence soaring, and his hunger for a World Series championship burning brighter than ever. Kirk made the final out of the 2025 World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, grounding into a double play in the 11th inning. He has been carrying that moment around with him all winter, and it shows. When you watch him play right now, you are watching a man with a score to settle. Meanwhile, back in Dunedin, Florida, the Blue Jays' Grapefruit League operation rolled on with a crisp 5-0 victory over the Detroit Tigers. And there were several stories from that game that deserve more attention than they are getting. Addison Barger. We have to talk about Addison Barger. This man is not letting up. He delivered another thunderous home run, a 410-foot missile at 107 miles per hour that he launched deep to left field on a full count, making it his latest addition to what has been a genuinely jaw-dropping spring training. But here is the detail that nobody is talking about loudly enough. Barger is doing this in deep counts. He is waiting. He is working at-bats. He is capitalizing on better pitches rather than expanding his zone and hacking at junk. That is the key developmental step for a power hitter. When the strength meets the patience, the results stop looking like hot streaks and start looking like sustained production. And if Barger is genuinely doing this now, if this patience at the plate is real and not just a spring training illusion, then what this offense becomes with a healthy, locked-in Barger in the middle of the lineup is genuinely frightening to contemplate. Also turning heads in that Tigers game was Josh Kasvik, who picked up an RBI double and scored a run, and continues to make a compelling case that he belongs. Kasvik has been one of the sneaky standout stories of this spring training, a player who came into camp as a depth piece and has been quietly outplaying that modest expectation every single time he steps on the field. The reality of roster construction probably means he starts the year in AAA Buffalo, particularly given the situation around out-of-options player Leo Jimenez. But the comparison to how Addison Barger forced his way onto this team last year, coming up through Buffalo, forcing the front office's hand with sustained excellence, is not a reach. That door exists for Kasvik, and he seems fully aware of it. Kevin Gausman looked sharp on the mound. 3 1/3 innings pitched on a controlled pitch count of about 52, allowing 3 hits, all in one inning that he worked out of cleanly, and punching out 3 batters without a single walk. Typical Gausman. Methodical, efficient, and clearly on track for opening day. And then there is Spencer Miles, who continues to quietly build one of the best spring training resumes in the entire organization. 1 inning pitched, 3 strikeouts, 2 hits allowed, 0 earned runs. His stuff is generating swings and misses consistently, and the Blue Jays brass has taken notice. Which brings us to what is arguably the most interesting baseball conversation happening in Blue Jays circles right now, and that is the question of the final bullpen spot. Keegan Matson of Sportsnet wrote about it beautifully, slicing through the depth chart to reveal that there is less room than people realize, and the decisions being made right now will shape how this team is constructed for the most important stretch of games in its history. Here's the math. The Blue Jays are almost certainly carrying 6 starters to begin the year: Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, Trey Yesavage, Jose Berrios, Cody Ponce, and Max Scherzer. That is 6. And because of Yesavage's pitch count limitations, the plan is to pair him with Eric Lauer as a tandem, which effectively makes it 7 arms attached to the starting rotation in some capacity. When you account for the established bullpen pieces, Chad Green, Yimi Garcia when healthy, Tim Meza, and a few others, plus the strong springs that Angel Bardo and Spencer Miles have put together, the math gets tight in a hurry. There are not many open spots, and whoever fills them will be expected to contribute in high-leverage situations on a team that has its eyes on a World Series. The question being asked around camp is, between Angel Bardo and Spencer Miles, do they both make it? And the answer, based on everything we are seeing, is leaning toward yes. Both have been outstanding. Both have proven themselves capable of getting major league hitters out at this level of competition. And given that Jimmy Garcia and a couple of other arms are beginning the year on the injured list, the reality is that spots have opened up that these 2 young arms have walked into and claimed with their performances. If there is one final roster battle still worth watching as the final weeks of spring training play out, it is this one, because it could define how the Blue Jays manage their pitching in the moments that matter most when October rolls around. So let's zoom out for a moment and look at this picture in full, because it is genuinely one of the most exciting moments to be a Blue Jays fan in a generation. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is wearing a home run jacket in Miami and hitting bombs for the best lineup in WBC history, heading into the tournament's knockout rounds locked in and electric. Alejandro Kirk is making Mexican baseball history in Houston and coming back to Toronto with his bat red hot and his hunger for a championship at an all-time high. Addison Barger is mashing 410-foot home runs in deep counts and looking for all the world like the breakout season everyone has been waiting for is finally here. The starting rotation is loaded from top to bottom. The bullpen is deep and getting deeper. And the roster decisions still being made in Dunedin are being made by a front office and a manager who have now seen this team go to Game 7 of the World Series and know exactly what it takes to go back and finish the job. The Blue Jays have a score to settle with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alejandro Kirk knows it more than anyone. This team knows it. And from everything we are watching right now, at the WBC, at TD Ballpark in Dunedin, and in every spring training game being played between now and opening day, this is a team that is coming for everything it could not quite finish last October. That is everything for today, but before you go anywhere, I want to hear from you. Who has impressed you more in the WBC so far? Vladdy Jr. with his home run jacket celebrations in Miami, or Captain Kirk making Mexican baseball history in Houston? Drop your answer in the comments below right now, because this is exactly the kind of debate this community was built for. And if this video gave you the full picture of everything happening in the Blue Jays world right now and you want to stay locked in on every single development between now and opening day, every roster move, every WBC update, every spring training storyline, then hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a thing. We are here every day covering this team with everything we have got, and once the regular season starts, the post-game reactions, the deep dives, and the long-form content are going to be coming at you hard and fast. This is the place to be for Blue Jays baseball in 2026. Hit like, subscribe, drop your comment, and we will see you in the next one. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's go.